Hi, it's Cynthia Hilston with cynthiahilston.com. Thank you for joining me on another Monday in our journey to writing and publishing our first book as busy moms. And I would just like to remind you to click that subscribe button and hit the bell beside it if you want to be notified whenever I post a new video, which is every Monday. So before I get into it, I just want to say really quickly, some of these videos were recorded at very different times. As I sit down to record this, it's November of 2019, and that means it's been over a year since I recorded a video. My kitty Tater is here. You probably remember him from other videos. So if you notice that my hair is a different color or anything, that's why. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. A lot of these videos were made in the summer of 2018, and life happened and I didn't get back to it for over a year. So if you find yourself on your writing journey and you find that stuff happens in your life that kind of puts a hold on it, on your writing for whatever reason, that is okay. That's reality. So here I go. Today I want to talk about writers' conferences and workshops. So the first question you might have is, why would you want to attend a conference or a workshop? A great reason is to improve your craft. When you attend workshops, conferences, so conferences, usually a part of a conference is workshopping. So a lot of times you would be bringing a work in progress that you have. Sometimes it could be a completed manuscript and you would be there to work on it, to get ideas from keynote speakers who are going to be talking about all kinds of stuff from character development to plot development to where to get ideas to even just things like marketing, the publishing, self-publishing, traditional publishing. There'll be different keynote speakers on all different kinds of topics in the writing process. They will talk about their experiences. You will also probably be working with other people. So improving your craft, learning new things, that's a great reason to go. Another great reason to go is that when you go to a conference, you are probably there for 3 or 4 days. If you're going to one of the larger ones, especially if you have to actually pack up and go somewhere and get a hotel room for a few days, you're able to give 100% of your time to your writing. When you're at home and you're trying to write, anyone who's got kids, we know how it goes. We are getting interrupted if we dare try to work on it when the kids are home, which is probably crazy to try to do anyway. But there's always distractions when you're trying to work from home. When you're trying to, there's laundry, there's dishes, there's other chores. You have to go to the store. So when you're at a conference, what's great is you're there for your writing and you're there to give complete 100% of your time and your focus, your energy, effort, everything to your writing, which is great. It could be just the thing you need to kind of like, if you're struggling or you're having trouble like finding time and maybe you need to get ideas, it could be the thing that you need to help like focus you and get your energy centered so you can come up maybe with your next story idea, or maybe you're stuck in a rut on a work in progress, or maybe you have a completed manuscript but you're just not happy with it. There could be tons of reasons why you feel that you need to go to a conference and work on something. So you give 100% of your time. That's awesome. Another reason why I would say it's great to go to a conference, even I know if you're going to go to a conference where you got to pack your bags and you have to pay for airfare or gas to drive there, you got to pay for a hotel room. Maybe you're lucky and you can split the cost by going with another writer friend, or somebody who lives in that city and you can stay with friends. But even then you're paying for the conference itself. And, these are usually they're usually several $100s. So this isn't something that is cheap. I do feel that it is valuable. I do feel that it is an investment in your writing career. So if you are really serious about your writing and you want it to go somewhere, I do think that there's the benefit of investing in your writing career. So you can use this and look at it as an investment in your writing career. So this isn't necessarily something you would want to probably do a month into, let's say you finally decide you want to write a book. I wouldn't say this is something you necessarily want to do right away. I would say this is something that you really should think hard about, because you want to make sure that you're really pretty serious about pursuing this as a career. So this is the kind of thing that you can maybe 6 months in, a year in, if you've been seriously like writing every day and working on your goals, then this could be like a next step to say, okay, I've invested a year or 6 months in my writing. I feel like I'm ready to take the next step, because I think this is definitely something you really want to think about before you just spend the money, okay? And I'll get back to if money is a problem. I'll get back to that in a minute here. Another reason why you would probably want to attend a conference or a workshop would be just for networking. A lot of the keynote speakers are going to be other authors who have already been published, so you're going to learn a lot from their experiences, hearing about their experiences. There are agents, like literary agents, a lot of times at these, where sometimes you can talk one-on-one with them and even try to pitch your idea or your book to them. Publishers, editors, there are, like, even if you just meet other writers, you are meeting them face to face, especially if you don't maybe have a local support group like through your library or a group of writer friends who meet regularly. This is a great way to network. I feel like the more connections you make, the better. I have online met other authors and networked with them. I have gone to a conference or two, which I will talk about soon, and again, networking. So meeting people face to face is always a great opportunity to potentially open some doors for you, and certainly to learn new things. So if money is an issue, which I understand most of us don't just have $500 or $1,000 to throw around. I've got my coffee. See, this is Christmas themed, so you can tell it's cold now. It's November. Peppermint mocha. Working on my writing today while my kids are at school and drinking my coffee. So anyway, if you don't have money to throw around, I would check your local library or your county library. A lot of times where I live, the county library system is pretty active with having writer workshops. I attended a writer workshop, not at my local library, but at another nearby library. I attended a workshop on flash fiction writing back in January. And I don't do a lot of flash fiction writing. What is flash fiction? First of all, flash fiction is really, really short fiction that still tells a story. So it still has to have a conflict and a climax and a resolution. Sometimes they're as short as 100 words, so it's like every word matters. Flash fiction is usually under 1,000 words, which is about 4 to 5 pages. Sometimes it's under 500 words. Like I said, the shortest I've seen is 100 words. And so it was on flash fiction. I have a good writer friend who does a lot of flash fiction. And so I thought, hey, yeah, I'll go. She was going and a couple of other writer friends were attending. And so they had us do some writing exercises while we were there. So that was a writer workshop that I attended, and it was about 2 hours long. It was completely free, and I learned some new things there about writing really short fiction. For somebody who writes novels, this was kind of fun and challenging. A lot of libraries also have regular classes that teach you about using words, so if you are not very word savvy, or there are other aspects to using the computer that maybe you're not very comfortable with, a lot of libraries do offer regular free programs on how to just kind of navigate your way around just the practical aspect of actually writing something. My library, as I say, it's November right now. November is NaNoWriMo. That means National Novel Writing Month, where the goal is to, if you decide you want to participate, you are to write 50,000 words in 1 month. That's the basic, that's like the shortest amount of words for a full-length novel. So the goal is to challenge yourself to write a whole novel in a month. And so every November is NaNoWriMo. Last year I did participate. I already had a novel going and I did finish it. It was a little crazy. It meant writing about 2,000 words, not quite a day, which is 7 to 8 pages. But my library this year is every Saturday from like 1 to 5, opening up some space where if anyone wants to participate in NaNoWriMo, they can come in and for 4 hours just write in a quiet space. So, your library, if it doesn't do this, maybe, it would be a great thing to suggest. Like I said, this is in November when there's NaNoWriMo, and it's a great time to try to sit down and say, for a few hours, I'm just going to focus on my writing in a quiet space. Even if it's not NaNoWriMo, a library is a great space where it's quiet and there are tables and sometimes there's little alcoves or nooks where you can work. And so if you're finding it hard to work from home, going to the library to even write, use their computers. Everything is free at the library. So your library is a great resource for a lot of reasons for your writing, not just for workshops and conferences. I have attended now 3 writer conferences through my local library system, and they are every fall and they're completely free. So if you don't have money to spend on going away, this is a great option. It's not going to be for 3 or 4 days, but it's usually for at least an afternoon. Ours have gone basically all day from 9 a.m. until about 5 p.m. And something they have done every year is you can bring the first page of something you've written and they will read it out loud, and then there's like a literary agent there or an editor who will critique it. And so you can get some feedback, and this is totally anonymous. They don't know who wrote it. But if you feel like that's something that maybe you want to try, this is something that can happen at a conference, is like first page reads where they give you feedback. Again, there's networking, and you're going to listen to different keynote speakers. In addition to talking about the writing craft, they might have you do writing exercises. I've listened to people talk about the ways to make money as a writer, not just with selling books, but if you want to try to make money writing reviews on books or editorials for local papers. There are all kinds of things that you can learn by just listening to the keynote speakers, things you might never think of. So I would say going to a local conference would be a great option. Again, if your city library doesn't have it, look at your county level. If your county doesn't have it, look at the next county over. Chances are you will find somewhere, I would hope, within 50 miles of where you live, that there would be an opportunity to attend a conference like this, completely free. And again, the chance to network, the chance to learn new things about the writing craft, and you can go with other writer friends, you can make new friends. So this is like a more low-key version of a conference. And again, there's always like writer workshops, sometimes on poetry. Like I said, I went to one on flash fiction. So libraries are a great source for these things, and it is completely free. They even served us like breakfast and lunch for free. All you had to do was register, and if your library doesn't offer anything like this, maybe this is something you can bring up. And if you know other local people who are writers, you can say to them, hey, suggest to the library that we have a writers conference. Maybe this is a need in the community that isn't being met, and there's enough people who are interested that maybe, just maybe, there could be something that's planned. So that is what I would so strongly suggest, that you try attending a local conference. Free is always great. Now, paid conferences. This is where you're going to go to somewhere like New York City, or usually a big city, not necessarily. Sometimes they're kind of tucked away in like cabins out of the way. Now, the one I went to last year was the Algonkian pitch conference, which was in New York City. It was 4 days, and this was where I had a finished manuscript, and the purpose of this was learning how to pitch your novel in person to editors and literary agents. So the Algonkian conferences come in two types. I'm going to put a link below to their website if you want more information. Like I said, it does cost several $100s to attend these conferences, but you can network, you can learn a lot. Now, even if you go to it and you decide that this was just not for you, at least you've had the experience, you know? I feel like experiences, you can always learn something from them, even if you're learning what you don't want to do. Algonkian conferences have general writing conferences. I believe they take place quarterly in Virginia somewhere, and I think those are kind of more tucked away from the big city, and those are the conferences that focus on just general writing technique, like I said, story development, from plot to characters to setting, all the general parts of the story, your initial conflict, your building, rising action, your climax, your resolution. They teach you like the step by step of creating a story. That's kind of more for people who are at the beginning of their writing journey. So if you're looking for a very good, well-known, solid company that does conferences, this would be my recommendation. Like I said, I didn't attend the general conference, but I did attend the pitch conference. Now, the pitch conference is for people who, like I said, have a finished manuscript, who are farther into the writing process. And when I went, I went with these high hopes that I was going to pitch my novel. It was a novel that my writers group here where I live had read for the past year and helped me edit it, and it was ready to be published. And I thought, hey, let's try. A lot of people thought it was a good, solid story. So I went in, and when I pitched it just to the group, the guy asked if I had anything else because he thought that the story was, I don't know, he said it seemed kind of tame or weak or something. The thing I learned is that New York City is where a lot of literary agencies are. If you want to be traditionally published, and nobody knows who you are more than likely going to have to subscribe to what they are looking for. You're going to have to look at what is hot on the market, what genres, what types of stories, and if you want the best chance of getting your foot in the door. And that's just the beginning. There's the challenge of writing a really good query letter to entice an agent to get you noticed. I talked about querying agents in a past video, and I have queried agents just on my first 2 books. I didn't do it on my 3rd book, and I actually at this point I have a 4th and 5th book that I am self-publishing very soon. And I have for now decided not to go that route. I've decided to stick with self-publishing. It is extremely difficult to get your foot in the door when nobody knows who you are. Now, if I could go back and do it again, I would pitch a different story. So that asked me if I had another story, and I brought one up. Now, I wish I would have probably chosen a different one. They were intrigued by it, which was great, but they wanted me to make a lot of changes. And it was basically going to be changing a literary fiction novel that I had written into a mystery crime type of novel, which is not at all the type of writing I do. I don't think I'd be any good at it. It's not my strong point. Part of what you do as an author is you're usually going to be picking a certain genre or two that you write in and that you feel you do well in. So I decided that it wasn't for me, at least not at that time. But I had the experience. So I'm just throwing that out there because this is my experience. So if you are looking to do a conference or a writer's workshop, I do recommend them. I do think you want to start at the local level with something that's free, that's just for a day. But if you get a few years into your craft and you feel like you want to kind of take it up to the next level, it might be worth looking into. So that's it for now. I just wanted to plug a couple of books. So at the end of this video is going to be a little add-on where I've had it at the end of a lot of my videos where I plug my first 3 novels. I'm going to plug, I have 2 more coming out. The first one is called Rocks and Flowers in a Box. The release is December 21st, 2019, and it will probably already be out by the time I post this. The second is called Mile Marker 139, which comes out January 18th, 2020. So check those out. The links are below. By the way, Rocks and Flowers in a Box is part of a series. It is a sequel to my novel Lorna versus Laura. So it's part of the Lorna and Tristan series. Rocks and Flowers was the book I wrote for NaNoWriMo last year. And I actually had not intended to even write a sequel to Lorna versus Laura, but surprise, I did, and now it's going to be a series. And it is getting really dark. So it is a really dreary, cloudy day. The lighting is not very great. So I'm going to go. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Remember to please subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! A little bit of self-promotion, shameless plug, whatever you want to call it. I just want to share with you that I have 3 books out on Amazon. I'm going to hold up the paperbacks so you can see what they look like. First book, Hannah's Rainbow. This is my first book that is loosely based on my late grandma's life. Second book, Lorna versus Laura. This is a suspense romance. And third book, Laughing Matter of Pain, which is a spin-off of Hannah's Rainbow about her brother, Harry. Those are available in paperback as well as Kindle on Amazon.com. And if you are interested in knowing more about the process of writing a book for a busy mama like yourself, don't forget to check out my helpful guide called 30 Minutes a Day, Busy Mamas, is all it takes to write that book.